The top stories: Ministry says recent visit of Ethiopian Prime Minister to Kenya and Tanzania fruitful. And scholar says commitment of African leaders remains crucial for accelerating African economic integration. Greetings, dear viewers. Welcome to EBC World with me, Shifarao Lako. Now, the recent visit of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to Kenya and Tanzania proved fruitful in advancing Ethiopia's interests in the energy and aviation industries, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs disclosed. Talking to reporters during his weekly media briefing, spokesperson of the ministry, Mallas Alam, said the warm welcome accorded to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed during his visits to Kenya and Tanzania, as well as the subsequent memoranda of understanding inked, is evidence of healthy relationships between the countries and growing interests to strengthen ties. In connection to that, Mallas stated that the Prime Minister's visit to the stated two countries demonstrated that several attempts to impede Ethiopia's positive role in the region had failed. The briefing also highlighted various diplomatic endeavors of the ministry, including the celebration of the 128th Adwa victory, Ethiopia's participation in the Dubai International Horticultural Expo, and the WTO meeting in the UAE. Meanwhile, State Minister for Foreign Affairs Misganu Arga received at his office today the Danish ambassador to Ethiopia. The two have exchanged views on bilateral, regional, and global issues of mutual concern. Ambassador Arga assured the Danish ambassador of Ethiopia's commitment to strengthening its cooperation with Denmark in the areas of energy, climate change, and capacity building. Ambassador Arga also welcomed the planned visit of the Foreign Minister of Denmark, Lars Løkke Rasmussen, to Ethiopia. The Danish Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade is expected to talk with Ethiopian authorities about ways to promote bilateral and multilateral cooperation on matters of shared concern while he is in the country.
ያለውን ነገር ለማስረዳት ያህል የአካባቢ የተቆረቆረው በ333 ዓመተ ምህረት ግንቦት ወር መጨረሻ ላይ እንደሆነ ታሪክ ይመሰክራል። በዋና ከተማነት ደግሞ የሚታወቀው በይኩኖ አምላክ ዘመነ መንግስት ነው እና ለ200 ዓመት ያህል የአካባቢ ከቆት እስከ ምንጀር ድረስ ባድማና ወና ሆኖ ከቆየ በኋላ እንደገና የሰሎሞናዊ ስርወ መንግስት ወገን የነበረው እዚህ መንዝ ውስጥ ያዕቆብ የሚባል ነበር። በሱ በኩል የወረደው ዘርያ አማሃየስ የሚባሉት የነና አካባቢ እንደገና መልሰው አዲሰውታል አቅንተውታል።
Which is located in the Samin Shoa zone of Amhara region. And this is Ankober Palace Lodge, which is built on top of a hill with a beautiful breath. ነው ልብረራለች በሰማይ እህቴ ዘመናይ ዘመናይ ነው ልብረራለች በሰማይ ዘራፍ ዘራፍ ላለው ዘራፍ እጄን አልሰጥም ከልቡ ለነፍ ዘራፍ ዘራፍ አንድ በል ሀገር ከኔም ከራሷ ተጣጣ እንዳትቀር ዘራፍ ዘራፍ ላለው ዘራፍ
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC World. Now, Sri Lankan ambassador to Ethiopia and permanent representative of Sri Lanka to the AU says Ethiopia's Green Legacy initiative stands as a testimony to that the Go Green program could see a brighter future. The ambassador told ABC World that the initiative remains a robust motivation for other African countries to plant more trees. Tigist Tarnesa presents the full account as follows.
Sri Lanka established diplomatic relations with Ethiopia in 1972. Sri Lanka's first ambassador was appointed to Addis Ababa with residence in Nairobi in December 1972. The Sri Lankan embassy in Addis Ababa was declared open on 2nd of February 2017. Talking to ABC, Sri Lankan ambassador to Ethiopia and also permanent representative of Sri Lanka to the AU, Tashanti Kumari Siri, pointed out that Ethiopia and Sri Lanka enjoy long-standing bilateral ties.
We have very strong bilateral ties with Ethiopia. Very strong ties for like almost 3 decades, and historically we are connected with Ethiopia like 3rd century BC. There had been delegation from Ethiopia to Sri Lanka, and 14th century there are a lot of reports about Ethiopian being in Sri Lanka. Even Ibn Battuta, the Moroccan traveler, has reported about 500 Ethiopians in Sri Lanka. So we have very strong relations. And multilaterally, we are engaged with Ethiopia and also the African Union countries. So we closely work with many countries in Africa on several common issues.
In relation to Ethiopian Green Legacy Initiative, the ambassador noted that Ethiopian Green Legacy Initiative stands as testimony that the Go Green program could see a brighter future in a bid to a remaining robust motivation for other African countries to plant more trees.
With this initiative of Green Legacy Initiative of Ethiopia, His Excellency the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, I believe you will plant more and more plants here in this country. It will reflect the motivation for other countries in Africa to plant more and more trees in their domestic environment. And also it is a good initiative for other countries, particularly with the countries with small economies, and also for healthcare system, and also lack of resources, to get example from these kind of initiative.
Furthermore, he reiterated Sri Lanka's commitment and ambitious vision in order to enhance the forest cover.
Sri Lanka also has a kind of ambitious vision to enhance our forest cover. Now it's about we have got finest rainforest in the world. It's about 25% of the land mass is covered by forest in Sri Lanka, but we have ambitious task of expanding the forest cover up to 30 to 35% to increase. So we need to have a kind of a partnership with other countries like Ethiopia, where you have got an experience under this Green Legacy Initiative. I believe in terms of technology transfer, knowledge sharing and all, it will be an partnership approach also, in addition to your contribution to the world environment, I believe.
Green Legacy Initiative of Ethiopia, the ambassador says it sure is a great investment for the future.
Moving on, an African history scholar emphasizes that the commitment and willingness of African leaders remains crucial for accelerating African economic integration. Historian and researcher on African history, Taganu Gosa, told EBC World that the spirit of Pan-Africanism and the historic Adwa victory serve as a pivotal benchmark for fostering integration among African nations. Jerusalem Batsea presents Goshu Malso's report as follows.
We are calling on everybody to think Africa, act Africa, and prosper Africa.
The AfCFTA was launched in 2018, aims to enhance economic integration among 54 African Union states by creating a single market for goods and services, promoting free movement of people and capital within Africa. A developmental ticket meant to boost inter-Africa trade The AfCFTA is more than anything else a means to eliminate trade barriers, thereby speeding up the much-hoped continental integration. Talking to EBC World, an African history scholar emphasized that the commitment and willingness of African leaders is crucial for the AfCFTA to take off the ground.
We just need to have the commitment and will to bring about this. One of the ways in which in the Agenda 2063 of African Union, one of the basic arrangement in which African economic integration would be created is thought to be forging this, like removing all these kind of tariffs and barriers in promoting African trade between African countries. So these tariffs and these tariff barriers of all kind really hindering the African trade between African countries.
Tegenu disclosed that inter-African trade is currently at a low point, highlighting the importance of Pan-Africanism and the historic Adwa victory as benchmarks for promoting integration among African nations.
One of the ways in which African economic integration, which leads to the benefit of African people in alleviating poverty, in creating suitable ground for African economic growth, is removing these tax and tariff barriers. And many countries are ratifying the policies and the policy frameworks and the programs itself by their own parliament. And I think we need to move forward with this one. That is needed. We should draw from the legacy of Adwa, because Adwa is about commitment, and Adwa is about resolve, and Adwa is about resilience of spirit, and that commitment is needed from African countries and African leaders.
He underlined that removing tax and tariff barriers will create fertile ground for economic integration. Tegenu said the latest visa-free agreement between Ethiopia and Kenya will give this process quite a boost.
The human movement around Africa should be lifted soon, and as I saw currently Kenya is spearheading, and some other African countries are following in allowing Africans to enter Kenya without any visa requirements. And so the issue of very hard visa requirements should be lessened, to be honest.
In addressing economic and post-colonial challenges, Africa must undertake significant efforts, the scholar pointed out.
Well, the viewers, you have been watching EBC World. Now a quick recap of the top stories. Ministry says recent visit of the Ethiopian Prime Minister to Kenya and Tanzania fruitful. And scholar says commitment of African leaders remains crucial for accelerating African economic integration. Well, viewers, that's all the news there is for now. Thanks a lot for watching us. Bye-bye.